Hey everyone, how's it going? Happy Manic Monday. I hope you all had a great weekend and wherever you are enjoyed the outdoors. It was all right here. Chilly for some reason. We're like in June and usually in the past years it's been hot already and today is like mild. It's weird. Global warming, it's a real thing. So anyway, um, what'd you guys do this weekend? Anything fun? Um, I I mean my weekend was all right. Um, Saturday I had the baby shower, which I realized I had never been to a baby shower before. I only had one for my first son. Um, and besides that, I've never gone to a baby shower. So it was interesting, like the games that they play, like there was a little scratch off of a baby butt, and if they was pooping it, you won something. Or poop on it, not like actual poop. And then another game was you had to guess whether it was a butt or boobs. I was like, this is like really awkward, weird thing. I got almost all of them right though. So yeah, it went okay. It was a pretty chilly day, and the baby mama looked glowing and gorgeous. It reminds me of being 8 months pregnant and all those feelings of discomfort and stuff like that. So luckily she's, close to the end game, and the baby will be here probably within I think he's due the end of July. So not too much longer. I mean, it's like 2 months, but not too bad. So yeah, so that was cool. And then I came home and hung out, with the kids and stuff. But it was um interesting because while at the baby shower, a friend of mine who I actually met through my kid's grandmother, um, she's been friends with Deb since she was, I think, 16, because they worked at the same like fast food restaurant. Um, and so, she's been around way further than I've been around, way longer. And we were talking about dreams, and she had asked me, have you dreamed about Deb? Since she passed last year. She passed in January. And I was like, I do. It's weird. I dream of her often. Um, but in my dreams, it's just like a regular day. Like it's nothing different going on. It's as if we were at her house, sitting at the table, having coffee, talking about like a TV show that we both liked, or um, she's like tending to the kids and like getting them a snack plate and stuff like that. So it's never anything where only one time in my dream I was like, wait, aren't you dead? But even then, like I just like glossed over it and just continued doing whatever we were doing. And I don't know if that was my subconscious, like we're not even gonna dream about that she's dead. Like reality, she's gone. But in the dreams, we're not going to think of it that way, and we're just going to have this moment, a moment that we had 100 plus times, where we were just tending to the kids together and talking and laughing and um all that stuff. So she was telling me that she has dreamt of her. She's had a few dreams of her and they were really intense. And she said in one of them, um she was talking to her, but her lips weren't moving and stuff. So I always am intrigued by dreams and like what they mean, because people always say, oh, they mean something, subconsciously you were thinking about something that causes a dream, blah, blah. But I've had some wild dreams where there's no way it could mean anything. Like, I had a dream that I was trying to get my kid from someone's house into the car, but I looked outside and there were bison and elephants flipping over cars and I couldn't get to my car. So did that mean something was blocking me in real life to get to where I wanted to be? It's possible, but it was such an intense dream. Like I woke up exhausted because I just it was just insane. Um, so we were talking about dreams and like what they mean and stuff. And I was telling her, it's weird because I still go to text her like at least a few times a week still. And it's been a year and a half, and I still will go to text her, when Aiden says something funny or when something's going on with the kids. Like, it's such a natural instinct for me because she's been there with me since my kids were born. So it's like she is what I know when it comes to communicating about the kids, like with their father and stuff. Like, most of it went through her. So like it still like hasn't fully seeped in, I guess, because I still go to text her and stuff. So I was telling that girl, tomorrow, which was yesterday, Sunday, made a year since my mom died. And I have dreams about my mom too, but we don't really like talk in them. It's again, just kind of like my dreams with Grammy, where we're just doing normal things. There was one dream I had where it kept going back and forth where I knew she was dead, but then I would just snap back into like, okay, let's just do this dream. Like, let me just continue whatever this is. So it's strange with both of them that I don't know if that's a part of how I grieve, or if it's how I'm processing things, and like reality is reality and I know that they're both gone, but in my dreams I want to pretend that they're still alive. And because I think about them so much every day, they're constantly in my head. So yesterday made a year for my mom, and it was pretty tough. Every day I think about them and I have my moments where like shed a few tears in the shower type of thing. But yesterday, for some reason, it hit like it made it a little more real, because the thing with my mom is, over the years, like she's tried to keep in touch and I've tried to like bridge the gap and like go down and visit her with the kids. No one ever came up here to visit. I always had to go down there. And so, there would be times where I would text her and I wouldn't hear back from her for like weeks. Like, she always lost her phone, or she was always not feeling good. Like, there was always something going on in her world where time would go by, and I would finally be like, gee, like I haven't heard from this woman. I texted her like 3 weeks ago. And it was just kind of how it's been for years. We would make plans and sometimes she would cancel. Sometimes we would actually go and visit. And like my older son loved going to visit her. Like, he had a very strong bond with her because he was close to her. Like, when she first got out of rehab, um, he he got to see that side of her. That's the mom that I knew growing up. And so he got to see that side of her, and they had a very strong bond. So he always loved going to visit her, and her and Papa and stuff like that. So for me, because so much time would go by between us talking and like me seeing her, like I didn't see her for 6 months before she died. It wasn't for lack of trying, she just wasn't feeling good. And now looking back, like I get she wasn't feeling good because she had things going on that she wasn't addressing. So I hadn't seen her in so long. So for me, sometimes I forget that she passed away, and I'll think, oh, I haven't heard from my mom in a while. And then I'm like, oh, that's right. Like, she, passed away. She's dead. So I don't know if that's a way for me to cope, where I kind of tell myself that I just haven't talked to her in a while, but like she's still there. Um, I don't know. It's weird. But yesterday, my brother texted me, and he is a pretty emotional guy for someone that has a very tough exterior. Coffee is life. So he's always been kind of like hard-headed and very like manly man type of whatever that looks like, type of guy. So, you know, he is very emotional though when it comes to my parents and like family passing away and stuff like that, which I am very different from him in that sense. Like um before medication, I could really stuff things deep down and like act like they don't bother me. I could put them out of my head. Anything to not have to show emotion. I hate crying. I hate the feeling that happens before you cry, the lump in your throat. Like I could disassociate so well that there were times where he was like, you're cold, like you're so cold, like you don't feel anything about, you know, dad passing or nana passing. It's like I did feel these things, I just didn't outwardly show them because I didn't like how that felt. I didn't like how people would look at me if I was crying and that like sympathy, but to me it was pity, you know, it's very warped thinking. But um so I've explained to him, you know, it's my coping mechanism. It's how I can get through these insanely painful and world-shattering experiences. It's how I cope. It's what I've learned over the years. You know, my mom was in rehab, my brother was doing his own thing. I went through so many shitty life experiences that that's how I coped with it. That's how I continued with life. I you know, I didn't have a choice sometimes. I didn't have anyone to go to. So, you know, once we had that conversation, he was like, no, sis, like, I get it. I get it. So now on these new medications, I am unable to block the feelings and like, you know, separate, you know, feelings from real life and stuff like that. So he was texting me yesterday and it was really intense, like emotional type of text. And so that kind of set me off. You know, I woke up feeling pretty emotional and then like his text, I was just like, dude, I can't do this. But it's also important for him to know that I'm here, even if we grieve a bit differently. It's important for him to know he has me. Ow, Jesus. Um, you know, my dad passed away. All of my aunts and my uncle have passed away. I have one uncle left who could really give two shits about anyone but himself. So it's just me and him. You know, he keeps in touch with all my cousins. I'm not a fan of my family on my mom's side. My dad's side's great. My mom's side, there's just too much history, you know, things that he doesn't even know about. So it's like, I don't want to keep in touch with him. He's that guy. And he always, you know, we got to stick together, you know, family, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't have to though. Like I'll keep in touch with you because you're my brother and we have a great bond. But as far as like my cousins and like all that stuff, I don't owe my time to anyone. Um, if I cut you out, there's valid reason. And that's all that needs to be said about it. I don't have to explain my case and explain why I choose not to talk to them. It's my own personal reasons. And if I talked about it, it would mess up a lot of stuff. I was gonna say a bad word, trying not to swear. It would mess up a lot of things. So I'm just trying to get through it the best I can. And my answer to him always is, I don't want my kids knowing that side of the family. I don't. Call me bougie, call me whatever you want. But my goal in life was to always move out of New Bedford and to separate myself from the toxic family members, I guess you can say. They were all always on drugs. There was always bad things going on. It just, I don't want to deal with it. I'm not putting my kids through that. And that's it. I get to make that rule. This is my life. I'm an adult now. I don't have to allow anyone into my world that I don't want there. And so he struggles with understanding that because he is, again, very emotional on the inside and he feels family is everything and you have to keep the family together. But my view on it is, even if it's family, you shouldn't be sweeping stuff under the rug and acting like things never happened when they did. And that's just how I feel about it. So we talked off and on yesterday throughout the day about my mom, and then I went to visit my kids' dad's aunt, who I've gotten pretty close to since Grammy died. It was her sister. And in a weird way, she just reminds me of Grammy. Sometimes the way her voice sounds, or she'll say things that I know Grammy would have laughed at and stuff like that. So I feel comfort being around her. And that's just my personal feelings towards her. I enjoy her dry humor, and just the fact that it's comforting to just be around her and be like at her house. As I was telling my boyfriend, like, there's something about her house that I would never be able to live in that house. It's like always dark, and I have a weird thing with lights being off. I don't like a dark room. I don't like feeling cold. I don't like when houses are immaculate and like there's like nothing cozy about it. And that's kind of how her house is. Now, granted, she doesn't live there often. She's always in Florida. They have houses down there. So I'm not like putting her down, or her, decorating or whatever down. It's just like a personal thing for me. I don't know I know what it is with the lights off. So when I was younger and I would come home from school, if my mom partied the night before, if we got home and all the lights were still off, that meant that she was hungover. So it was like cereal for dinner and stuff like that. So I think that's what it is. Like on a day like today, it's kind of gloomy out, but it's not like super like dreary and dark out. But still, I have to have the lights on in the house. I don't like dark rooms. Often I'll go into my son's room. He's sitting there playing video games at like 6 o'clock at night, and it's pitch black in his room, and I just turn on the light. I put on the TV, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I know you don't care whether it's on or not. I just like turning it on because I don't like the idea of you sitting in a dark room by yourself." And he's just like, "Okay," like whatever. Because he doesn't, he hasn't experienced that. He's never had to worry about that. So yeah, it was an interesting weekend. A lot of emotions all around. And pretty much the highlight to it was, Friday night. I I had one of my sons here, and me and my boyfriend just played cards, like I think the game is called War, and had some beers and just kind of hung out, listened to music. And that was the highlight of the weekend, is just getting to have that time to kind of unwind a little bit from the day, and like knowing what the next day was. It was nice to just kind of have a little bit of fun in between. And so, yeah, that's kind of my spiel on grief, and it looks different for everyone. It looked different for me years ago, and now it's a whole different type of different, because now I have to feel those things. I can't conceal them very well at all. So yeah, just wanted to jump on and talk about that. But it is a new day, and I have a busy day today. My son's at the gym, or will be at the gym. And then I'll have to pick up my son, the other one, and then drop him off, and then literally go back out to get my other son from the gym. And then come back, and I have a meeting with my boss at 4. So I have to be back by 4. So busy day ahead. Hopefully work isn't too hectic. You never know. Sometimes Mondays are cool, and other times it's like a pure dumpster fire. Everything broke, and customers are pissed, and blah, 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 blah. Same old shit, different day. See, I swore. I can't help it. I'm trying. So yeah, so I hope you all had a great weekend. I might do a school pickup, we'll see. But either way, have a great day, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Have a good one.